Bahamas. Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm. As always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today is Tuesday, which means we're going to be dealing with a hot topic, and I don't know any hotter right now than this industrial action that we see happening here in the Bahamas. Where the airport authority workers yesterday, many of them in the hundreds, not just here in New Providence, but across the country, apparently called in sick and obviously impacted the operations at the one most affected was the Lyndon Pinling International Airport. That was affected to a greater degree than any other of the ports that were impacted by this alleged sick out yesterday. And we see the fallout from that, where the government said it was not taking it lying down. And we have an update today where the Supreme Court has issued a restraining order blocking the union workers from taking any further action. So and it's just not the airport workers that are looking at industrial action, but we had the bus drivers sit out yesterday as well. Many of them did not show up for their routes yesterday. So all of this brings us to what we're going to be talking about today, and that is the industrial unrest in the country and what it all means for the country. Whether or not the actions were warranted, whether or not the persons participating in the actions did so for good reasons, whether or not the fallout of those actions were worth those good reasons. In other words, did the method of trying to get the government's attention do more harm than good for the nation overall, as opposed to only the workers impacted? So those are the kinds of things we want to talk about today. The telephone numbers to call, because obviously I don't want this to be a one-sided thing where I'm just sitting here spewing off my opinion. I'd love to hear from you guys. So the telephone numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272, 3260272. And the new WhatsApp line to send us a message is 8010271. 8010271. So yesterday, many persons wishing to travel out of New Providence for the most part, and to a lesser degree from some of the other family islands, but particularly those travelers throughout the travelers here in New Providence who were seeking to leave the island, whether they were visitors or otherwise, was significantly impacted by the airport authority workers not showing up for work. Many people, missed their flights. There was some degree of, I don't know if chaos is the right word, but long, long, long lines at the airport. Obviously, people frustrated by the fact that they were subjected to this. However, the airport workers are saying, listen, man, we got to do what we got to do to get government attention because they think we playing and we need to be paid our money. Monies that have been owed, according to them, for many, many years. And successive governments have been kicking this can down the road, and they've decided they are going to take some action. So I want, Jason, for you to play clip number 1 because it sort of sets the stage for what happened yesterday. So let's go to clip number 1.
Get them doctor certificate. 5 solid days, my friend. Family Island, Nassau, everybody. Get them and let's lock the place down.
There are a little over 200 employees assigned to New Providence. Approximately 90% of them did not report for normal duties, who should have reported to work this morning. In addition to that, there are approximately 107 employees in the Family Islands, over 17 airports that did not report to work. We're talking about the firefighters, the airport trainers, and all the other people associated with the airport authority.
At 8:12 a.m. this morning, President Ferguson was advised by the Director of Labor that the matter regarding the trade dispute on outstanding payments owed to the members of the BPSU employed by the Airport Authority was referred to the Industrial Tribunal, and as such, any industrial action, including a planned sick-out taken by BPSU, could be deemed illegal. In that conversation, President Ferguson acknowledged the advice given by Director Ferguson. Based on the aforementioned, and in my capacity as the Minister of Labor, I am formally advising the members of the BPSU that planned the sick-out, resulting in members of the BPSU's failure to report for normal duty, is an illegal strike. All of the employees are hereby requested and asked to return to work forthwith.
Never took any action, so it was never necessary to forward anything to the Industrial Tribunal. And so that is my response to the government. I have no other response to anything else. And so if the government is of the view that they have something that they can pursue to bring disciplinary action against the union, I invite them to proceed.
And proceed they did, because that voice note from the union president, Mr. Ferguson, that we would have played at the top of that clip was apparently also in the possession of the government. And the government did take this a step further. And today we get word that the airport authority workers were hit with a restraining order, blocking them from participating in any form of industrial action due to a Supreme Court injunction. The interlocutory injunction was granted against the Bahamas Public Service Union by Justice Denise Lewis Johnson last night, according to the Director of Labor, Robert Farquharson. Hundreds of workers staged an alleged sick-out yesterday, and obviously that impacted operations across several airports in the country. And their demands were resolution to long-standing issues regarding the signing of an industrial agreement and outstanding payments. However, the ruling handed down by the Supreme Court finds that workers are in breach or were in breach of the Industrial Relations Act by calling, organizing, inducing, inciting, or procuring its officers and or members to continue to participate in industrial action amounting to a strike. So, in other words, even though they didn't call it a strike, that is, according to the Supreme Court, what it amounted to. And let's face it, we heard the union president in his own voice telling the people to go to their doctors to get certificates for 5 days and let's lock this place down. Immigration Minister Keith Bell told reporters at Cabinet this morning that most workers have returned to work at LPIA, adding that operations have returned to a sense of normalcy. And Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Clint Watson, confirmed that the Prime Minister met with BPSU President Kingsley Ferguson this morning. The ruling further stated an order restraining the defendant, whether by themselves, their officers, servants, and or agents, forthwith or until further order from contravening Section 76 and 77 of the Industrial Relations Act by refusing to report to work or to refuse to report to work when scheduled to do so or leave their employment or otherwise participate in any form of industrial action. It continued, an order requiring the defendant or until further order to forthwith instruct its officers and members to return to their specified areas of employment and to report to work when scheduled to do so, and not to take part in or continue to take part in any form of industrial action. So when this sick out happened yesterday, the Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Chester Cooper, had something to say as it relates to the timing of the action. Let's go to clip number 2.
We're not going to be strong-armed. We're going to be deliberate. This is most disruptive. It's a very disruptive time to do it, given the summer travels. And also, we happen to have an audit going on at the airport with TSA. So the timing is curious.
I am urging all members of the BPSU that are participating in this illegal industrial action to return to work immediately. Any person who contravenes the provisions of subsection 1 shall be guilty of an offense and liable on summary conviction to A, in the case of an employee, to a fine not exceeding $200 or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 months or to both such fine and imprisonment.
All right, so I want to hear from you guys as to whether or not you think that the action yesterday was justified, and your thoughts on how that action yesterday could impact the country as a whole, considering that there were very many persons who were traveling who were, inconvenienced, to put it mildly, and in a situation where we are just coming out of this pandemic, where the nation, is still trying to catch itself from the economic fallout of all of the lockdowns and, very little, if any, activity as it relates to persons being able to fly into the country. And now we finally see where we're getting this thing open again. And now this. So I would love to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that the action yesterday amounted to the union cutting off its nose to spite its face? Do you believe that it was a good thing to do, regardless of whatever fallout there may be? I'd love to hear from you guys on this matter, because, the thing is this. We have so many Bahamians who lost their jobs, who were struggling just to make ends meet during the pandemic, or who were just trying to hold on with all their might to not go under. And many people are just now starting to catch themselves. A lot of people still have a long way to go as it relates to climbing out of a hole. And at this point, the reintroduction of visitors being allowed to come to the country was obviously helping to turn our economy around, to help get us out of this hole that we found ourselves in as a result of COVID-19 and the lockdowns. And in the middle of a TSA audit, the union made a decision to recommend its people go to a doctor to get a 5-day sick certificate, not one, not two, but 5, which is clearly, there's a law against that. What are your thoughts? Do you think that this was a good idea? Was this necessary for them to get some kind of response? Or was it just reckless? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Hello, caller. Caller, are you there?
Hello, Ms. Malcolm.
Hi.
I think it was a bad thing yesterday to the airport. Kingsley Ferguson, he should be more responsible. Being, even as, I believe if he'd go to the Prime Minister and they get out, that ain't the way to go about it. The Prime Minister would have sat down with him and, get this matter over with. Over 4 years, this thing being in the making. Now he's just supposed to wait till 10 months' time to get this thing and making noise and carrying on like this, as opposed to be, even as assistant pastor, he's supposed to, man, just consider it and, deal with this in a more sober way, and he allow them people lie and tell those people, y'all go to the doctor, get a health certificate. Come on, use, and we wonder why the younger children them doing all kind of foolishness, because they see we were supposed to be role and leaders in this country and stuff like that. And when the young people them doing all sorts of nonsense, the young people doing this, the young people doing it. Listen what this man say. Go to the doctor and get a health certificate and just shut this place down. Come on, this man is a pastor. Set example, man. Come on. The Bible said, unless the Lord build the house, the labor is in vain. If God is not in these things, what these people is doing, you're only destroying this country. That's all they doing.
It's not like they didn't have other avenues that they could use if they felt that the government was not receptive to their call, or there are other. I mean, we have very progressive laws in this country as it relates to labor, and so that methodology yesterday was not their only option. Now, they may have figured that was their most effective option, because clearly, if we shut it down, like he said, we can get their attention quick. But at what cost? That's the question I think we need to be asking. At what cost?
And what happened? It proved nothing, because the magistrate asked them to return back to work. This thing was not even right for them to do. And guess what? He wasn't even on the island yesterday. You see what I'm saying? We wake up. It seems like this country. We go to church on Sunday and run up and down and carry on, and on Monday morning we put on the red suit with the devil with the pitchfork, and we just try to mess up everything, man, inside this country.
How much of this do you think, and I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on anyone, but how much of this do you think is politically motivated? And here's why I say this, why I ask that question. Because if you recall, prior to the last election, Davis and his team met with union leaders and signed some kind of memorandum of understanding to say that they were going to work closely with the union leaders if they were elected. But Kingsley's group was not a part of that meeting, and I understand that he was invited, but allegedly invited, but chose not to attend.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much of this do you think, if any at all, is politically motivated? Because I think that was an indication right there that
Yes.
he was not going to be on the run of a Davis administration if they won. What are your thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. And Michael Pentad, we are standing with them. He was right there when they supposed to sign this also and didn't do it. Man, these people really gotta speak truth. And if he just say, well, it didn't sign on us, we were wrong for doing it, and it don't make the PLP right. Speak the truth, man.
Yeah, because for him to make it sound like, oh, we stand with the union, as if this situation wasn't going on from the time that the Free National Movement, that last administration, was in power. So it is kind of disingenuous, because it makes it seem like this situation just started since September 16th last year, when truth be told, this problem has been ongoing for quite a while.
Exactly.
So if you stood with them, if you're standing with them now, why did you not stand with them before September 16th?
Okay. Everybody keep the mouth mum.
Is it just me?
And now with the jitney drivers, we need to put some laws and order on these jitney drivers. Yeah, they may be complaining about the bus fare and stuff like that. You can't, when you go in the bus, before you have a seat, they pulling off the loud music and this and that. Everybody want this money, but nobody want to carry out the laws in this inside this little country.
Well, in the next segment of the show, I'm actually going to play a clip with regard to the bus drivers. When you understand the plight of many of those bus drivers, and I'm not here to, I'm not trying to be their spokesperson or anything like that, but there's a reason why they drive the way they do. They speeding all the time, because they hustle and try to get that dollar before the next one. And that is because a big part of that is because we don't have a unified system.
Right.
So the clip that we will play on the other side of this break, when we have, in the next segment, it goes into detail explaining why some of them feel or need to hustle in such a manner, because many of them, like the taxi drivers prior to the move, just the recent move, many of them do not own the plates for those buses. Some of them don't even own the buses. So they have to pay for the plate owner. They got to pay the bus owner. And then what's left at the end of the day is theirs. And then when you look at their expenses, the amount of money they have to pay for gas every day, some of them hustling just to get a couple dollars to carry home. And so this is why you see them driving the way they drive, reckless, because they trying to outdo each other. A big part of it could be solved with a unified bus system where,
Well, I just hope everything goes well, and I just hope some of these bus them get insured, because number 15, you had about at least 10 of them was off the road. They were driving and no insurance, and all of these things. So something happened to these buses, So and that ain't no hearsay. They were off the road because they didn't have no insurance. Okay, Michelle.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. The telephone numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272. 3260272, and the WhatsApp line 8010271, 8010271. So getting back to this whole situation of the airport workers and their decision yesterday to withdraw their services. We can ill afford, in my opinion, at this time, to do anything to harm the goose that lays the golden egg upon which we all rely. Because whether we realize it or not, You may say, well, I don't work at the airport. No. But that visitor coming in and spending their dollar, that dollar circulates. That dollar that they spend circulates. And eventually, if there was a way to test this, you could mark a dollar that comes in from that visitor and see how far throughout the how far throughout the community that dollar spreads. It goes throughout the community. So shutting down the airport, locking it down, as he said in that sound, in that clip, in that voice note, doesn't just impact the workers who decide not to show up for work that one day. It impacts all of us. And I understand the frustration of feeling that your cries are falling on deaf ears, especially for something that has been dragging on for so long and lingering for so long. But sometimes you got to look at the bigger picture. And I'm not sure that that bigger picture was taken into consideration. I'm not in any way saying that the workers should not be paid what they are owed. Absolutely. Absolutely. But the route that was taken yesterday, I just don't know that that was the best route to go. Because you got their attention, but at what cost? We didn't just annoy some people yesterday who were traveling, but it gave the nation a black eye because those people, especially those who would have missed their flights, you talk in frustration, they going home. When they finally get home, some of them may have been impacted in terms of not being able to get to work. They're going to talk bad about us. And the sad thing is, no matter how good of a vacation they had up to that point, that's their last impression of the Bahamas. So that last impression could have spoiled their whole trip. And when somebody has a negative experience, they can talk about that more than they can talk about the good. So if you look at the bigger picture, how far-reaching was that action yesterday in terms of the ripple effect of those visitors being annoyed, being put out, being inconvenienced, some of them missing a flight, which means they had to stay an extra night? You made your point, but at what cost? That's the question I think we need to consider here. Was it worth it in terms of the cost to the nation? That's a question I think we really need to consider. So I want to hear from you guys. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. WhatsApp line 8010271, 8010271. Let's hear from you guys on this Hot Topic Tuesday. We're talking about industrial unrest in the country. Is it worth it to bring potentially the goose that lays the golden egg to its knees just so you can be seen and heard? I want you to think about that, and then I want to hear from you on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, all-terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company on this Hot Topic Tuesday. We're talking about the industrial unrest in the country, and we have on the line Mr. Sidney Thompson. Mr. Thompson, welcome to GPS.
Miss Malcolm, I hope you're doing well.
I am. It's good to hear your voice.
Yes, ma'am. It's good to hear you too, because you were talking an interesting topic. Let me just put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know whether Mr. Ferguson has ever left the table in discussions?
If he ever left
the table?
What do you mean by that?
That means sitting to the table to discuss issues relating to the union. Because the government is saying now, come back to the table.
Mm.
Well, who left the table? Was the government always at the table?
Okay.
Because see, when I listen to what he is saying, on the half remarks made by the Minister of Labor,
mm-hmm.
all these draconian laws now coming up. And, you know, it's interesting how they go in the middle of the night to get a judge to make a ruling, to tell these people in the middle of the night, come back to work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this happened with the doctors, you know, Ms. Malcolm. The doctors had an agreement to go on strike. They had their labor certificate. The government of the day at the time, the FNM administration, they went out there on Rawson Square and all that place.
Mm-hmm.
3 days. Then the government said to the court, tell them get back to work. And, well, they went back to work. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, can the government willingly come in and interfere with the union who got permission to strike. Now, they're calling this situation an illegal strike.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they're saying. Now, see, when you hear people say things, you got to ask yourself, is it true or is it false?
Mm-hmm.
When I check Article 24.1 of the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't tell me that I must do something at a particular time to please somebody else.
Okay.
It tells me I have the right to protect my interests 24/7. It doesn't say, well, you can't do it today because some people are out there checking something.
Right.
It doesn't go that way, Ms.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people have their motives, fine. And I'm not going to castigate the union for whatever action they take because they have a right to determine their fate, their future.
Mm-hmm.
They have to sit down among themselves and determine this is the course of action we're going to take. That's what Article 24.1 gives you. It doesn't say you must look to see whether some fellows out there say they come to check the airport.
Well,
to do
that's
this,
convenient.
To do that.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I hear all of these different remarks, the government is now saying, Mr. Ferguson, come back to the table. I don't know if we're never leaving the table.
Mm.
He's been there for years, speaking with the government of the Bahamas. And sometimes people get all mixed up between a political party and the government.
Mm-hmm.
He said the people at the airport, they were not negotiating with him. They were supposed to have meetings and so on. He said, you know nothing about it. So the thing is, it always seems to be, we do not understand what is the government of the Bahamas doing
Mm-hmm.
to harm the tourism industry.
Mm.
People are not even thinking about that. You always want to find somebody to blame. Let's blame the union.
Mm-hmm.
Let's blame the members of that union. It's them.
Mm-hmm.
So when the public look at it, they begin to say, boy, look like them fellas are terrible, eh? What is the government of the Bahamas doing to hurt tourism in this country?
Mm.
And I think the media needs to look at it and say, what have they been doing? And bring that part of it to the public. Because I always tell union leaders, you know what happened? We do not see anything or hear about the things the government of the Bahamas is doing that contribute to the many problems we have in this country. Because I could tell you the government is doing some things that are not right.
Mm.
And it has to be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
But then you always want to blame the union. I'm not saying the union does everything right. I'm not even getting into that.
Right.
But I'm saying, you're saying the fella, this ain't the right time. He should have this, he should have that. But how come you don't tell that to the government? How come nobody says that it's the government? Government of the Bahamas, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a drastic mistake. See, I don't tell them about the Constitution. Talking foolishness about trying to bring a statute law to overturn constitutional law. They got to be crazy.
Mm.
That's a no-no. But they say they won't go ahead with it. But that's fine. Let them go right ahead. They're going to buck their head hard. But the thing is, we have to tell them, Ms. Malcolm, you are wrong. You are contributing things to the tourism industry. Because I heard them all that big talk they had on the radio. And they got plenty coverage from the media. But the media didn't question them. What is it that you're doing that is wrong? That's hating the country.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be them. How much time they were off? A couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Say this is going to hurt the country. Maybe it had some effect. But the point is, the man been waiting for his money from that time. But they haven't gotten the money. He said he didn't get no money. I heard the rest of Labor say they got some money.
Yeah, according to the Director of Labor, over
Yeah, that's what he
$800,000.
said. But the union man said they didn't get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So see, this is the kind of thing you got to say to yourself now. You hear one thing here and another thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Mr. Ferguson come and tell the public what he said and even gave them a warning? See, if I was him, I wouldn't give you no warning. You ain't going to know nothing. It will just hit you and that's it. And you don't know what hit you. I believe union leaders make a drastic mistake when they give a warning to a government. You give them no warning because they don't give us no warning either.
Mm.
They just go ahead and do what they have to do. So the question has to be asked, what damage has the government of the Bahamas done to tourism in the Congress around me. Thank you, Ms. Malcolm.
I got to get you on the show, man, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You know how to reach me.
Yeah, I at least I think I leave your number with the producer just in case.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
All right.
All right, okay.
Definitely got to get you on because let me tell you, Mr. Sidney Thompson has a wealth of knowledge, particularly as it relates to the Constitution of the Bahamas. And I think he would make a great guest to help break this down for us. I understand his point because it's easy to say, the union didn't pick the right time to do this. But then I guess the argument is, when is the right time? Will it ever be the right time? And if I have the legal right to do this, then if not now, when? Why not now? And the point of Mr. Thompson is that I guess there are two people in this waltz, or two sides in this waltz, both the union and the government. So while we point and finger at the union, don't forget to look at the actions or lack thereof of the government that would probably have led to the union responding the way it is responding. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Lady Malcolm. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. While I agree with a lot of the things that Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson has said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to tweak it just a little bit because with a service like the airport that controllers and firemen and
such a vital
fire
service.
engines,
Such a vital service, yeah.
yes, it's a very, very, very vital service. And my Grammy does say there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have taken the majority of my workers off the job, but I certainly may have made a statement, left a skeleton crew, so that we don't put, like you say, the goose that lays the golden egg in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the TSA and all of those, that the pre-clearance TSA that we have here could be in jeopardy because of that. See, America ain't gonna play with you when you play around certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Those services at the airport, just like the police and the defense force and the prisons, should be vital services that can't really go to a strike. But this is where the government comes in, like MacArthur Walter Thompson said, because these are very essential services. If they have a query or a problem, you try to go and deal with them right away.
I don't think it was any accident or coincidence that took out yesterday just happened to occur while the TSA was here doing the order. I obviously that if you want to have an impact, that was one of the
But this is what I'm saying. I would not, if I had 200 workers to pull, I probably would have pulled about 180 of them and operate on a 20-man skeleton crew so that we really don't totally disrupt services. Because, like I say, when an aircraft is coming in or going out and stuff, that's some serious stuff.
It is.
You understand? So I would have done it, but I would have tweaked it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So.
I hear you. What are your thoughts of what Mr. Thompson had to say as relates to the responsibility of the government and their role?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. The government should take the lead role in that with essential services. They shouldn't kick that can down the road on no essential service. Because you can't have them striking. That's
so you're saying the government's responsibility and this is to put laws in place that make it impossible for them to strike. But I don't think that's what.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying if you don't want them to strike as an essential service, then their concerns should be almost immediately met. If they call you today and say, Ms. Malcolm, listen, we have a problem with the garbage. You say, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. We come and see what we can, how best we can work that out.
Understood. I get it.
Yeah, that ain't. So that's my 5 cents on that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you.
And with the bus drivers, that's a very easy fix.
Okay.
What I would do as Joe government, I would put stringent and strict rules in place to govern those bus drivers speeding up and down. I would even probably go as to reintroduce the unit that the wardens that they had to watch those bus drivers, taxi drivers, and stuff like that, and seeing that the government is not responsible for paying the bus drivers. Joe Public does that. I would, taking in consideration the climate of the day, I would consider raising them to $2 because even me who take the bus sometimes, I see ashamed getting them $1 for all the running up and down and stuff they got to do with the kind of prices of gas and fuel and the condition of some of those buses. I would not let that one linger. You understand? That's something the Joe Public can handle. Who want to take the bus at $2, take it. Who don't want to take the bus at $2, you think that's too much, then don't take it. But I would allow that to resolve itself almost immediately by giving them the $2.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, thanks for taking
I know a lot of people out there would hear you say that and they cringing because they figuring you talking about doubling the amount of money I'm going to have to come up with to pay just to get around, to get to my job, whatever. So if you paying $1 right now per day one way, that means you're paying $2 per day round trip. So you're looking 5 days a week. So that's $2 times $5. $2 times 5 days per week. So you're talking $10 per week. Now, if you increase that to $2 each way, you're talking about going from $10 a week to $20 a week. Now, you may say, Michelle, I know money. But boy, when you're struggling just to make ends meet, that extra $10 is a lot more than many of us would realize. It's tricky because I fully understand where the bus drivers are coming from, on the other hand, because the price of gas alone makes it difficult for them to keep going. It ain't like gas is $4 a gallon, $5 a gallon. You're talking just under $7 a gallon at this point. So, if their costs are drastically increasing, but they are unable to raise, the price to try to offset that cost, then clearly you're looking at a loss. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello.
Hi.
I probably didn't hear what you said. There was a voice note going around with the union leaders telling to go to the 5 days, 6 left.
We played it. We played it at the top of the show.
All right, now that's a criminal act.
I know.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I wouldn't say such an issue because one next thing I have against what's going on when where they say people could be fined or in prison for not showing up to work. I don't like that.
I don't think the language was helpful.
Well, he said they don't want to go that route, but that's in law. But I think that they need to change that law because when you put that type of thing in law, if that's in law already, first time I heard of it, but if that's in law, I think that should be changed because that reminds you of what we've been through all them years in slavery when we were forced to work. Because if a man says you don't want to work, don't work. The only alternative to that is fire him, but not to say imprison him or fine him not to work. That's not good.
Well, it's a difference between me saying I don't want to work anymore and I quit than falsifying by way of a false document from a doctor saying that I am sick and I can't come into work. There's a big difference between the two.
I think some doctors should be all accountable for certain things because we used to do that. We could all easily go to the doctor. Oh, I feel like working today. I need a 6 lip. Give them a couple of dollars to get a 6 lip.
Yeah, and like you said, that's against the law.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing it for many, many, many years, and I'm glad this type of thing come up so we could put a stop to it, and the doctors are important to us, what I mean? Doctors are important to us, and they figure out and they say, all right, we have to know this poor guy who wants his money through the union, and trying to help him out during But like you said, that's forgery. And you know where that's coming? If you to take a step, then that guy signed that whole bond deal with a different name too. That's forgery.
Hmm.
We make noise about it, but we didn't do anything about it. Stuff we just, let it go. Like you say, give them a fly everything.
Why you think them files gone missing?
Huh? Yeah, but like I say now,
Yeah, they
you know,
they gone missing for a reason.
yeah, well, there's a lot of things we got to look at, and what happens. Although governments might be against one another, government look out for other government. Some things this government may be covering up for the former government too.
Hmm.
You know, although I support this government, the governments do that to one another because many things went down when a new government comes in. Some things never came up again or what's not. But I hope the people, they get paid because the workers following the leader of the unions and some leaders of these unions, they believe like like the only way to do it if the union leaders raging and making noise and stuff like that. I believe as a good union leader, we need to sit down and negotiate without striking. Sometimes you win some, you wouldn't win them all, but you could win something, peacefully and peaceful and stuff like that. But that kind of striking, you would not even march if you get a good leader who would just go sit down and negotiate with the people to see because some of these leaders they want to be in that power. So that only way, we be aiming people, we like action, we like, excitement. Go down the street march and go in front of them, we like action. I don't think we need all that, but I say that they resolve it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Back in the days of the Burma Road riots, there was a different time in the Bahamas where many of the rights that workers now enjoy were not in place. That foundation had not been laid back then. And so that action at that time was certainly justified in order to try to improve the fate of the worker in this country. We've made a lot of strides since then. We have a lot of progressive laws that are now in place that better protect the worker than existed back then. So, do we still need to take the same route that they took back then to get results? That's a question I want you to consider. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Malcolm.
Hi.
A couple of days I wanted to point out with the bus fare, right, is actually $1.25.
Okay.
So when you're down $2, it's actually $2.50.
Gotcha.
And some people they have to get two bus in the morning
Mm.
and two in the evening because if I live in Carmichael, but I wake out Cable Beach.
Right.
I gotta catch a bus where I could get the Cable Beach bus.
Okay.
So that'll be like $2.50 in the morning, $2.50 in the evening.
$5 a day.
A day.
Right.
Now, for that to go up to $2,
you're talking
it is a little
$10
costly,
a day.
but
Yeah, I got you now.
the drivers
Mm-hmm.
and the operators really did it because of the cost of operation.
Yeah.
The fuel price is ridiculous in these El Paso. So
Imagine them big bus, but they got to fill up every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now with the airport sickle, my biggest concern was when I heard the deputy prime minister said there was some type of international inspection due that day, and I think that the labor union organized that demonstration on that day at that time for specific reason.
Yeah, that was strategy.
But I have not heard anything about the inspection. My concern is, did we pass? Did they have the inspection? Did they put it off? Did we fail? Are we in danger of being downgraded something or, some type of penalty because of the inspection?
Mm-hmm.
I hear media house talking about the inspection itself.
Mm-hmm. The TSA audit, yeah.
You heard anything about the audit?
I have not. I don't know what the outcome was.
Okay, thank you for taking my call. And I with them and I want them to get their money, but you can't kill the whole thing to get yours. Then I hear people say, "Oh, we can shut this country down." Really? We've been shut down for 2 years.
Exactly.
That's like traumatizing words when you say that thing, man.
True.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. No, man, a lot shut down. People ain't want to hear that. And the last thing the union would want to do is to alienate the Bahamian people, who, like you say, we've been shut down for so long. The last thing we want here is another shutdown. And whereas a lot of people, I think, sympathize with the fact that you are owed this money, truth be told, that during the pandemic, when so many people were on the line, standing in hot sun for an hour for a $20 voucher, airport workers continued to work. So, people may not have the kind of sympathy towards that plight as they would otherwise, because as far as they're concerned, man, look here, we've been catching hell, and now you're trying to cause us to catch more. So I think the last thing that the union would want to do is to get to the point where the Bahamian populace does not stand with them or stand behind them in this effort. And, they may say, we don't care, we got to do what we got to do. But you can't, and I hear what Mr. Thompson is saying about the fact that there are two players in this, and we shouldn't just be pointing the finger of blame at the union, but examining what the government has or has not done to contribute to this problem. And I agree with that 1,000%. But they both need to consider their actions and how it impacts all of us, because the last thing we need right now is to get some kind of serious, suffer some kind of serious repercussions as it relates to TSA. And, we don't need that, because I think we have been blessed for so long with things like pre-clearance that we just take it for granted. And I understand that it is beneficial to the United States as well. Otherwise, they probably would have pulled that a long time. But we can't take things for granted just because we've had it for a long time. The last thing we want to do is put something like that at risk. So how do you find a happy medium where I get your attention, you pay attention to me and listen to what I'm saying and act on it without me exercising my right to take that kind of industrial action, if in fact it is a right? So I have a comment. Bertha says, right now they have to come to an agreement, government and the union. That goes without saying. Both parties. Well, apparently, a meeting was held with the Prime Minister this morning. So if that was their goal, to get an audience with him, it worked. But again, I asked the question, at what cost? We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, let's turn our attention to the plight of the bus drivers, because they too staged industrial action yesterday. They said they ain't making no money, so they might as well go protest. You ain't losing nothing. Let's talk about it on the other side of the break. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company. And today on this Hot Topic Tuesday, we're talking about the industrial unrest in the country. We saw yesterday where 2 different groupings withdrew their services, the Airport Allied Workers Union and the bus drivers parked their buses. See, we're not doing our routes today, many of them. To the degree where it significantly impacted services for persons who rely so heavily on the buses to get to and from work and, wherever else they have to go. It significantly impacted people's ability to move around. So the bus drivers are complaining that, for far too long, their cries have fallen on deaf ears for an increase in fares. They explain how long it's been since they received approval for a fare increase. And their argument is that if you look at the cost of what we have to spend to operate the service compared now to the last time we got a raise, it is ludicrous that we are still receiving the same fare, considering how much cost of operation has increased. And they feel that the minister in particular is not really hearing them. And so they decided to do what they had to do.
Right now, we don't want to see the minister no more. That's it. We've been in and out of meetings with her. She has not really been she's not really been forthcoming with the answer that we wanted. She said on that she's going to go to the Minister of Finance to get some type of stipend for the drivers. That cannot work. Right now, from 2008, this is 2022, we've been waiting for our fare increase. and there's some other stuff that we're waiting. So we're out here right now. We just want to see the Prime Minister right now. And that's it. We're not dealing with the minister. We just want to see the Prime Minister right now. And he needs to understand that the transportation industry is in pain. We are hurting. We cannot continue doing this on a daily basis. And we are working at a loss. So, Mr. Prime Minister, we are asking to meet with you, sir.
I'm really upset because I think they treat us like criminals a little while ago. They violate our constitutional rights. We have a right as public service drivers. We pay license for the road, we pay insurance, and then they turn us off and refuse us entry to downtown. We just was going about our business so people could see that we are not waiting and we have a peaceful demonstration. So we just was going to ride straight through town. We was in the block of the road. We was in the behave disorderly, but they never even give us a fair chance. Out of this negotiation, what we really looking for is an increase in the bus fare. Minister of Transport is not hearing our cry. They look at us as jitney driver. Well, these gentlemen out here today are not jitney drivers. We are public service drivers and we serve the public. And we demand some respect from the government. What we really looking for is an increase in the bus fare. And then a lot of us do not own our plate. We own buses, but we do not own plate. We need to get our plate. The same way they issue taxi plate to the taxi drivers, we need plates too. On any given day, they spend $100 and something on fuel. So if they spend $120 to $130 on fuel, just look at some of us who say we waiting for somebody. So at the end of the day, we pay $120 to $130 for fuel. And then we still got to pay the boss. Let's say the boss want $160, $120. We still got to pay him. What do we carry on? If we have to do this every day, we can do this every day. Because we ain't making nothing anyway. So if we have to strike again tomorrow, we'll strike tomorrow.
Okay, so I know that some of them did return to the street because I saw a couple of them driving on my way here. I don't know to what degree, if any of them sat out again today. But you know, this is tough all around, because when you listen to what those gentlemen just described, and I have a relative who is a public service driver, so I know what they deal with. It's rough, especially those who don't own their own plates. And as we saw the situation with the taxi drivers, that's the majority of them. They do not own their own plates. Some of them do not own a bus, so they are not only paying the plate owner, but they're also paying the bus owner, and they are responsible for paying for the maintenance of the bus. So it ain't like you say, well, okay, I paying the bus owner this amount of money, and they can take care of all of the needs of the bus out of that money. No, that ain't how this works. The bus driver is responsible for coming up with the gas money for the bus. The bus driver is responsible in many of those agreements for the upkeep of the bus. So in other words, something goes wrong with the bus, that's coming out of their money. And then you consider that there has not been an increase in fares since 2008. That's 14 years. 14 years. Consider how much more expensive everything is now compared to 14 years ago. Just consider that. Gas is in a category all by itself. Now, we know that, the gas prices right now are not what they normally are, but it is what it is. The prices are there. So when you take all of those things into consideration, coupled with the fact that we do not have a unified bus system, which I don't understand why we don't, because we know that it works well in other territories. So why can't a unified system work here? And we saw that it could work here during the pandemic, when they were limited as to how many passengers they could take on their buses, and they decided to come together and they started to stagger their services. So, in other words, they all met at a central point, and then they pulled out, say, every 10 minutes, another bus would pull out. So it flowed, and that worked. Why is it we have gone back to what we have now, which is the same behavior that we had prior to that exercise, that experiment to see whether or not such a system could work here in the Bahamas, where every man for himself? Well, that clip just explained why. These people hustling. They hustling. They just trying to beat the other fella to pick up that customer so that they could have enough to pay the bus owner, to pay the owner of the, the license plate, to pay for gas, $130 a day, to pay for maintenance of the bus, and to still have something left to take home to their families. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these bus drivers do for more. They could get on your last nerve with the way they drive. But again, when you hear all of that, it puts it into perspective. They hustling. And in essence, unfortunately, it's like a race. They racing each other, trying to get to the customer first. When obviously a unified system would make more sense. But here's where we are. So I fully understand their side of this argument. If they were members of a union like BPSU, and they hadn't received a raise since the last 14 years, their union president would say, we ain't going back on the road until we get a raise. I mean, none of us wants to be working in the system that long and be unable to see some kind of progression, right? So you're talking 14 years without being able to increase their fares. Now, I say all of that to say, on the flip side of that coin, I could understand the government's position in not wanting to give approval for those fares to go up because, for the most part, the rich folks don't use that busing system. For the most part, it is persons who have less disposable income who take advantage of that busing system. So when you're talking about doubling the rate on those people, man, that's hardship too. That's some serious hardship, particularly when you consider that food prices going up, everything going up, except people's salary. Now there's talk about some raising the minimum wage, but that's more so for government workers, and they're hoping that they can convince private entities to match, but there's no guarantee that will happen to the degree that they would like it to happen. So I understand the plight of the poor people as well, who need a bus system in order to get where they need to go. And any government who, I believe, says to the bus drivers, okay, double your price, they can get backlash from them people who using that bus service. And politicians scared of backlash because they got to be considerate of how I can keep this vote for the next election. So they go rush to double the price now. Maybe people feel that pinch. They say, yeah, okay, we can get you back at the polls. So this a tricky one because it's like everybody's right. The bus drivers definitely, I can understand their need for increase because their operational costs have increased drastically over the last 14 years. But I also understand the plight of the poor people who rely on that bus service to get where they need to go. And how would it impact their lives if all of a sudden it was double the amount of what they are now paying? Bertha says, you can't win for losing in this country. So what do you do? Do you give them a slight increase? Not as much of an increase as what they're looking to get? Do you give them, as the minister suggested, a stipend, which they turn up their nose and say, we want no stipend. Can't help us. We need these prices to go up because everything else is going up. How is a stipend going to help us in a time like this? Robert says the bus drivers sound like union leaders, same message. So let me hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? And I know a couple of you called in already to talk about this bus driver situation, but I want to hear from others. 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or 8010271. 8010271 is the WhatsApp number to send us a message, not to call, okay? Don't call the WhatsApp line because we won't be able to plug the call into the system. Is there a solution that everybody could be happy as it relates to this bus driver's request for an increase? Is there something that we're not seeing immediately that could make everybody happy at the end of the day? What are your thoughts on that? What could be a solution where everybody leaves the table feeling a little bit better than what they're feeling right now? Is there such a thing? Or is this a case where somebody can feel pain and you just got to decide who that person can be, but somebody can feel pain? These are the types of questions that we need to address. So I'd love to hear from you. Yes, no? Okay, we have a caller on the line for the show. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello, Brittany. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Yes, Mom. I'm calling because but I want to put a little flip to this, and I know plenty clients and customers of the trucking world is listening too. And I think, like you said, I think the government needs to put something in place to like kind of shelter or front of the storm.
Wait. I can't understand what you're saying. I don't know if you're driving and there's a lot of air breeze coming in, but the breeze is making it hard for us to hear what you're saying. So screw up the window for a couple of minutes.
You hear me now, kind of?
A little better, yeah.
Okay, yes. Like I'm saying, I understand what the bus drivers are saying, and they're kind of in between a rock and a hard place.
They are.
The government and the bus drivers and the people who are going to feel it. But I'm coming from a trucker's point of view, and I don't think people who actually drive vehicles in order for their business to work is feeling it a lot. And I don't think like the public is sensitive to the fact that it takes a whole lot more to make one trip than it used to back in the day. And I actually don't have one answer, and so I appreciate the show, and I hope as intelligent as you are and the people of the Bahamas, you all can find a solution, and I hope the government is listening so that they can kind of, get some feedback from the public and solve this problem, because as a trucker, I'm catching hell just as well.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much for giving us that perspective.
Yes,
as it relates to the bus drivers, one thing that could immediately help is exactly what the driver said in that clip as it relates to ownership of their own plates. And in the same way that they did it for the taxi drivers, I think they need to expeditiously move to do the same thing for the bus drivers, because I don't understand how we allow these systems to linger for 30 years. I mean, come on. how long, and I applaud the Davis administration for fixing that problem for the taxi drivers. Because if you ask me, 30 years ago, that system was set up to benefit a few. And I don't understand how, for 30 years, successive governments would allow that system to linger. You got in the case now where some children taking in money for plates that their parents once owned, because their parents are dead and gone, and they still raking in the money. Meanwhile, it's the bus drivers who are out there hustling, trying to make enough money to pay them. For 30 years, we allowed the system to be in place. So I know that that one step alone would help many of the drivers who right now struggling just to keep up. Why you got these people who don't even drive collecting this money without giving an opportunity to the actual drivers to try to be their own boss? And I applaud the Davis administration for doing that for the taxi drivers. And I'm pretty sure that, they got some smart people in there. So I would like to hope that the same thing is on the horizon for the bus drivers as well. That step right there could help them out a lot in terms of if they have the ability to own their own plates and lessen the burden of them having to meet so much overhead payments just to stay on the road. So that is one step that could help, tremendously, I think. But is that a step far enough? Is it only fair that after 14 years, there should be some degree of an increase in fare? Is that fair? Is that fair to the person who's going to have to pay that increase in fare? And with regard to the minister's suggestion of paying them a stipend, how long would that stipend be paid? Was that a one-time lump sum stipend? What was the suggested amount of that stipend? Was this a stipend that would continue? So in other words, some sort of subsidy from the government? And government, I know they got their handful right now with everything that they have to pay right now. But I'm just talking in terms of ideas. So her suggestion to pay them a stipend, was that an ongoing stipend or was that a one-time payment? Could the answer be some kind of subsidy? Or is that one more bill that the government does not need to have? Who's going to feel the pain in this situation? Because somebody can feel the pain. It's no way that you're going to come out of this without somebody feeling pain. Right now, the bus drivers say we're the ones that carrying the pain, and we've carried it long enough. Bertha says, I hope that ain't coming out of my pocket. See, that's the thing. You can't, I understand the government not wanting to put any further burden on the people, because they, bent over right now with burden. So I fully understand their position to not want to put another burden on the back of the Bahamian people. You're talking, if the bus drivers had their way, you're talking doubling the amount that they have to pay for that service. Is the amount that they're paying now too low, in all fairness? Is it too low? And I know persons listening who pay and saying it ain't too low because I got to pay it. But compared to the service that you are receiving, is it really unreasonable or unreasonably too low? If there's an increase, would the bus drivers be satisfied with it being less of an increase than doubling the amount? Or is doubling the amount the bare minimum of what they need to be able to meet the needs of their performing their operation, performing their service? These are the types of things we need to take a look at. The telephone numbers to call, I'd love to hear from you. 3260271. 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272. 3260272. 3260272. The WhatsApp number to send us a message, 8010271. 8010271. We'd love to hear from you on this. What are your thoughts? What are your recommendations as to how we can resolve this problem where everybody has, even if it's just a bit of a smile on their face, where just not one group is feeling the pain, but where everybody walks away feeling that they would have won to some degree? Or is that even possible? Because it may not be possible. But I do see this from all sides of this. I can sympathize with the bus drivers. I can sympathize with their patrons. And I understand the government's position of being reluctant to say, yes, we can have you increase the cost. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Miss Malcolm. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
That's good. I trust and hope that you had a beautiful birthday.
I certainly did.
I can imagine. I am a bus driver.
Mm-hmm.
I want to comment on the situation.
Yes, sir.
What is happening to the bus drivers now? A lot of it is happening to bus drivers who really cause a lot of this on themselves.
How so?
By the way they conduct themselves on the streets, the way they dress, the way they deal with their customers. People treat you the way they think you deserve to be treated. Okay? Now, I am not only a bus driver, I am a bus owner. My bus is now parked in the front of my yard.
Okay.
Okay? Now, during the COVID situation, we were like off and on the road. We were, when we did have a chance to get back onto the streets, we were making like $70, $80, sometimes $90 a day. Now, I had somebody working for me on a scheme where they would work Monday to Friday for me at a certain quota. Whatever they were to make after that quota, they can have for themselves.
Right.
Plus, they can work Saturday and Sunday for themselves. Okay? And I think, not saying because I was the owner of the bus, or I am the owner of the bus, but I think I had given the fella a good deal. He was happy and I was happy. It's just that the COVID sort of throws off a little. On being able to pay my $300 a month for the rental on my plate. I wake up one morning, the fella came for the bus. The fella asked me why I take the plate off the bus. I said, why I take the plate off the bus? The gentleman who I was renting the plate for,
he take the plate off the bus.
He came and take the plate off the bus, unbeknown to me, for $150 during the COVID time that I had owed him. Now, I never denied not owing him,
Right.
Right, but we were going through something, so I agreed to pay him X amount of money. Instead of paying him monthly, I would pay him weekly to cut it down until we get back into the monthly agreement. But I guess he couldn't wait. And then the next thing too.
From what I understand, even though COVID, y'all had to diminish the amount of people you could take on the bus, a lot of those a lot of those bus plate owners didn't decrease their.
They didn't. No, ma'am.
You had to meet their quota regardless.
Not at all. But it is unfair to a person like me who owns a bus.
Right.
I don't have a plate. My bus is now parked in the front of my yard without a plate, without a name on it. Okay? And I refuse, under this government that I supported handsomely, anybody who's listening to this conversation, I could almost call my name when I hang up. They know I support this government. And I refuse to rent a plate to put back on my bus. Now, this government have to, whenever they have a meeting at their headquarters, I have to go there and roll over on the ground. They're going to have to give me a plate for my bus. I'm not renting a plate no more.
Yeah.
All right. I have owned this bus for the past 8 to 9 years, paying $300 a month. You know how much money that is? You know how much $300 can help me with this bus a month? I can service this bus. I can buy tires for this bus. I can two little odd ins and odds that needs to be done to this bus with $300 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a little bit of money.
I hope they move towards that though, because it just been too long. That system. But listen, I have a cell phone call on the line, eh?
For this,
I
Michael,
appreciate you calling.
let me just say one last thing before I go, please. Please.
Okay.
There are about, I can name you about 5 to 7 people who have more than 5, 6, 7 bus plates in their drawer or under their beds right now, ain't doing nothing. What the government need to do is do a moratorium, make them put them plates on the road within 6 months, or take the plates and give it to the people who renting plates.
Right.
They don't have to print no more plates. They have enough plates here.
Wow.
Okay, ma?
Thank you so much for that knowledge. Thank you. All right, let's go to the cell phone caller. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good evening.
Hello.
Miss Malcolm. Good afternoon, Miss Malcolm. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, first of all, my name is Anthony Flowers, Bahamas Express bus service, Bahamas Express stores. Listen, I heard some stuff, even concerning leasing plate and all that stuff. It would solve the problem and so forth. But Michelle, this problem is not about the plates. The problem that we're in. Now, even though the bus drivers demonstrated a strike yesterday, which in my own opinion, was a misstep. But what I would say is this: we haven't had an increase, a bus increase for the past 15 years. Okay, and I hear some disingenuous remarks concerning bus drivers and striking. Any organization in the Bahamas, we have the right to strike and to come together to our own common conscience. But what I want to say is this: that the plates will not solve the problem, because I am my bus owner. I am a bus owner and I drive my bus. Okay? And it is heavy. It is really heavy, even to cope with the gas prices. Take, for instance, I used to run my bus service on $350 a week for fuel. Now I'm running the same bus service on $750 for fuel.
Wow.
So now, if you was to look at these expenditures and that even maintenance, maintaining your vehicle, there is some things has to be taken in consideration.
Right.
Now, I just came back from London about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, which was June the 12th, I was in London. 3 weeks, they had a 3 days strike, transportation strike. Train and buses was on a strike. You can go and you can look it up, and there was a strike that was going on in London that you could not even commute between destinations, and it was really an important action that was taken. It's the same goes here. Now, the way how we look at our bus drivers, I understand we get some bad bus drivers, just like every other institution that we have here. We have bad people that does things that they should not be doing. They should not. I mean, the statement that has been made that we should make a law concerning because bus drivers are striking. These bus.
Caller, are you there? I think we lost the caller. Yeah, we lost the caller. I don't know if anybody was saying that there should be a law passed because bus drivers were striking. I think they were talking specifically about the airport workers in that comment. If you are referring to the same comment that I think you are, but I could be wrong. I don't know, caller, if you lost. That might be the caller calling back now. Let's see if that's the same person calling back. Is it? Just waiting for my producer to let me know if that's a call for the show. Telephone numbers to call 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or 8010271 is the WhatsApp number. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, you on
Good
the air.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Samuel Taylor,
Hi.
Public Relations Officer for the Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union.
Hello, Mr. Taylor.
Now, there is plenty comments going on, but we drivers deserve the $2 raise. Okay? This dispute was going on from 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Every year, it was back to the table, underneath consecutive governments.
Mm-hmm.
The system is the way it is because they don't want no change in the bus system. This union have put forth plenty and numerous items toward all government persons who came in there and sit down, all the ministers, for uniform change, the fees, etc.
Mm-hmm.
They keep promising you, push it on the side, come back, we'll come back to it, we'll address it. They don't want to address it. Why? Because they want the system to stay the same, and they want the public to look at bus drivers, public service drivers, as nobody is. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you really want to get the facts and information, you need to invite the union, the Bahamas Unified Bus Drivers Union representative on your show so that the persons can know exactly what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
The public does not know the fight or the drivers. They don't know the plight of the drivers.
Right.
And we go there from 5 a.m., some 4 a.m. in the morning
Mm-hmm.
to do a service for the public. Some drivers go door to door to pick up mothers, grandmothers, to take them to their workplace. Door to door. Persons don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Some persons come on the bus. They know the bus fare is $1.25. They give you $1, and you have to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just a portion of my 5 cents for right now.
I'm glad you called in. Would it be if the government said, okay, man, meet us halfway? We can't double. Would you accept anything lower than that as a possible raise, or is that the bare minimum of what you need to be able to come, to fulfill your obligations to the public? You still
Well, Miss Malcolm, we would like for them to come and sit down and talk to us, to come to a reasonable price that we can work with.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is hurting.
Yes.
But this isn't a new battle that we was trying for. Like I said, this is from 2008 to now.
Mm-hmm.
This could have been already established. People could have already been working along with this $2 from that time. But like I said, consecutive governments just push it on the side, let it go. Because they want the system the way it is. They want drivers to be running up and down or whatever. One thing on the whole, you have a whole section that deals with the public service drivers.
Mm-hmm.
A whole section that makes sure that public service drivers are in compliance. And it is not working. Why it's not working? Because they want the system the way it is so that other things can happen.
Other things such as what?
Ms. Malcolm, you invite the union to your show, and the union will bring the light to persons.
Are you all available on Thursday?
We will be. You give us the time, and we'll be there.
2 to 4 p.m. this week, Thursday. I have Thursday open.
We'll be there.
Leave your telephone contacts with my producer, and I'll have you guys on Thursday.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for calling. I appreciate it. All right. Yeah, that would be interesting to hear their perspective from the actual drivers. That would be good. So this Thursday, we'll have them on 2 to 4 p.m. I know that if I was working on a job for 14 years and I couldn't seem to get any kind of increase in salary in 14 years, while still having to deal with the increase in the standard of living, which keeps going up, I don't think I would be too happy. I really think I would have quit. So trust me, like I said, I get it. I have a family member who's a public service driver, and sometimes when he can't, and when he feels the pressure, he comes and he talks to me about what he going through, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I get it. But boy, I also understand the public cry too. So hopefully when you guys come on Thursday, bring some of those recommendations that y'all would have been making since 2008 that have fallen on deaf ears. Let's hear some of y'all ideas as to how we could make this better. Is that a call for the show? No. Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about industrial unrest in the country, because the BPSU is saying that there's some other workers that aren't happy as well, and that time is running out, that the government needs to pay attention to their plight or possibly face even more action. Let's talk about that on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this Hot Topics Tuesday. I want to read a couple of comments. This one is from WhatsApp. It says, what is happening to the bus drivers is happening throughout the Bahamas. The answer to this is, what is the percentage of inflation in our country at this time? You cannot ask for an increase in fares without any mathematical support. $2 might sound good, but $2 might sound good. A stipend may sound good, but can you realistically live off that $2 increase? Then 2 years down the road, you need another wages. Wages and the cost of operations should be adjusted to the percentage of inflation. Good contribution there. Is that a call for the show? No. Okay, so other comments that we have from our Facebook viewers. Let's see. Robert says, we need to unify the bus system if we want to help the customers. Every driver works for a salary. So if you have to catch two buses to get to work paying $4 one way, we need an all-day pass, $5. Okay. Clifton says, good day. My 5 cents is inflation should hit the whole population, so it's not fair that the bus drivers be burdened with the whole fee, not passing a small percentage on to the public. All other businesses pass on the cost of inflation to the consumer, so the bus drivers should be no different. I live on Grand Bahama, West End, and the ride on a bus is $5 each way to Freeport and back. So $2 is a small ask by the bus drivers. Let's see. We have one more person who says the whole bus system needs to change. At this point, we should be using tokens or swipe cards. All right, so industrial action is the topic that we're discussing on Hot Topic Tuesday today. And we heard in the news earlier in the week that the airport workers, the bus drivers are not the only workers who have a bit of a problem that they need addressed. Here again is the president of the BPSU speaking about another group of workers that he represents, who he says need some attention.
President of the Bahamas Public Services Union, Kinsley Ferguson, says there are a number of outstanding matters. One of them involves the University of the Bahamas Industrial Agreement, which he says was submitted to the tertiary institution in January of 2020.
To date, we have not engaged in negotiations, and it is likely that that agreement would expire sometime in 2023, 2024.
Ferguson says amendments were made to the agreement 2 months ago, but there's been no response. BPSU trustee at the University of the Bahamas, Tyrone Coakley.
We needed to revamp this old salary scale that we're dealing with now, which was from the inception of the College of the Bahamas.
Another sore point for the union is the Public Hospitals Authority Agreement. Ferguson says that the agreement was already approved by the committee, but claims that the government has not responded to say when that agreement can be signed off on.
We are yet to receive any definitive response on when that can be signed off on and concluded. The concern that we have is that agreement expires in 2023. That particular agreement has some outstanding retroactive payments.
Additionally, Ferguson says the Public Services Industrial Agreement is now at a standstill due to the new proposal given by the government. Now, the BPSU president says if their concerns are not addressed, action will take place. And he's calling on all members, near and far, to stand ready.
All right, and we see from the what took place yesterday that if they say they're going to take action, they just take action. So that may not be a veiled threat. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello, Michelle.
Hi.
Good. I'm just observing all this labor activity going on.
Mm-hmm.
And while I have no issue with people fighting
for what they believe is their rights. There are a couple of things we need to bear in mind. All of us living in the same bowl of water or in the same pond. And all we're doing is basically taking water from one side, pushing it to the other side, but not really bringing in any new waters. Okay? Now, any agreement that anyone signs, I think, ought to be honored and ought to be lived up to.
For sure.
The problem I'm having with a lot of these unions, and the problem I've had this problem for years. Anytime they negotiate or anytime they come to the public with a complaint, it always seems as if it's about more. Yes, right. Everyone in the world wants more. But I wonder, when will we get to the point that it will speak to providing quality service and say, listen, this is the level of service we are providing, and based on our service alone, this is what we deserve.
I see.
I don't hear them ask, listen, we want to take our game up another notch. But in order for us to do it, we need to be able to do this, we need that. It's all about, I want more. It's never about how we can provide better service to the Bahamian public or to the public in general. It's never about service being commensurate with money. It's always about, we just need more. The cost of living is going up, so I need more. Whether I provide you better quality service, that's relevant. I just think everything needs to go hand in hand. And as they push for more money, I think they also need to tell us at the same time how we can expect better quality service from them.
Good point.
Because this money coming from me, this money coming from you, and this money coming from everyone else. So I'm not just inclined to stuff money down anybody's pocket unless they can justify that, hey, the service we're providing you all is such that we must have this additional money.
Good point.
That's it.
Good point. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling. That's an excellent point. It can't be where you're constantly looking for an increase, but you ain't talking about how you can provide better service. And it's not like the service, and I'm not speaking to any one specific group, but in general, it's not like the service that we're receiving is so stellar that you can say there's no room for improvement. So definitely your point is well taken, caller. The same breath that you use to talk about how you deserve this increase, it should be the same breath that you use to explain how your service is going to improve. That's a very, very valid point. So let me go back to our comments. This one is from Miko. Miko says, this is what enough is enough of the false promises looks like. The party made promises for votes that they had no intention on keeping. Siobhan says, while I don't want to cast any aspersions, this practice of union striking every new administration is exhausting. There must be a much, I think she meant to say better way of communication and agreement between both parties. Holding the country hostage is wrong. And Miko says, Bahamians have a choice, support their party or support the people, the essential workers. This administration has until the end of the week or the country will be shut down. Okay. Sanford says, I, as a former bus owner, drive a uniform system. I, as a former bus owner, drive a uniform system is needed, and the driver is asking for 75 cents for adults, not $2. The fare is now $1.25. Let us keep that in mind. Okay, your point is taken. All right. Boy, Miko, there's some serious things you say in there. That the country will be shut down at the end of the week. Okay. And when this country is shut down, then what? Who gonna hurt the most? Is it gonna be the government who gonna hurt the most, or the people who gonna hurt the most? And is that your intention for the people to hurt the most? Because that's what's going to hurt the most at the end of the day if you shut the country down. Because guess what? The majority, if not all of those people who form the government, they doing well for themselves. So who that gonna hurt at the end of the day? I dare say more the common man. If you shut this country down, after this country been shut down for so long, and just now trying to catch itself, and you threatening to shut the country down. Okay, then. Who that gonna hurt? Will you be, if you shut the country down by the end of this week, cutting off your nose to spite your face? At what cost? These are questions we need to answer. Because people still hurting. I want y'all to think that people ain't still feeling the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. People still hurting. Just now trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel, try to catch themselves. And we're talking about shutting the country down. Okay. Miko says the pandemic proves it is not an issue. The common man is hurting now. That's my point. They hurting now. And the pandemic, whether you want to admit it or not, Miko, had a big part to do with that. So if you know they're hurting now, why add to the pain? Could there not be a better way to get what you need than to cause the people more pain? That's all I'm saying. Couldn't there be a better way? Or are we so nonchalant about causing people more pain? Are these people nothing more than pawns in a chess game? Are they being used as pawns in a chess game with the government? If we hurt the people, we know the government will respond quicker. So let's hurt the people. Is there no better way that we can do this? Just some things I want you to consider. Okay, let's take one more comment. Kevin says, many who commenting on these programs about shutting the country down ain't even presently living in the country, most of them with these talks in the U.S., so they don't care. Interesting. And Bernard says, pawns and sheep. And finally, Miko says, there is a better way. Government solve the issues. Okay. Government solve the issues is what we all want. But I don't know that the means justify the end when you're talking about shutting the country down. That's just catching itself from being shut down. I don't know how much sense that makes. That's like, you know, when something happens in the United States with regard to, say, what causes an increase in racial tensions, and then the people go and burn down their own community in protest of, say, the police killing an unarmed black man. They're going to burn down their own community. How much sense does that make? How much sense does it make? Anyway, I can leave you to think on that one. Tomorrow's Wellness Wednesday. We're going to be talking about your health. Don't miss it. We have a great show planned for you. How the time going so fast? How tomorrow's Wednesday already? My God. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'm out of here. Have a good afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show